All right, at 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As far as roll call, I believe Mr. Major will be a little late tonight, but he will be present. And everybody else is present. Old business, approval of minutes. The regular meeting minutes of July 15, 2021 were provided for review. I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of July 15, 2021 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Yes.
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 Motion passed. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council for an item not on the agenda? Not you. Okay, so County Commissioner Smith is here tonight. Mike, come on up. He has something to present to the city.
Mayor and Tim. Come on, Tim, you're not getting up that easy. Well, it's good to be back. Mayor and council members, it's good to see all of you. As y'all know, years ago, the county citizens, cities and everybody passed a countywide sales tax. And we, in my opinion, Lansing could have used some of the funds that have been out there. So when speaking with the new county commissioners, I spoke to them about, this is supposed to be for economic growth. And Tim brought to my attention, and I asked Tim through the mayor if he could come to the county commissioners meeting and present the infrastructure or the wastewater sewer line that y'all are trying to do in McIntyre. And we were asked to afford half of it, and the county commissioners did not hesitate to pass that. So I'm here today to present a check for $200, and you get it all out. I got the real one in my pocket. $240,000, $538 to split the cost for y'all to do that. And I can tell you the county commissioners now are looking at things like we want to be more partners and not the enemy. So this is just one step. I've talked with the mayor. I meet with him every 2 months. I meet with the city manager every month. If there's things that we can do up there that are part of the economic growth, we want to try to be part of it. Can't promise it every time, but Tim did a good job presenting in front of the county commissioners, and I was very pleased to see the way they reacted. So I want to present this to you, and if we can get a picture. Well, let me give you a real one.
I'll take it.
There's the real one.
Make sure it's signed.
Where's Beth at?
Make sure it's signed.
Where's Beth at? She should have that in her hands.
Mike, you did that wrong. He just got back from vacation.
There you go.
Okay. You guys always smile. Except the mayor. Thanks, Mike. You gonna stick around for the rest of the meeting?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I usually watch you guys before, but this time I'm going to see you up in person. I miss our comments, Greg, at the end on your.
Oh, it's a good one today.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, new business ordinance number 1062, UDO text amendment, apiaries. This text amendment is being brought back to the council based on comments at the June 3rd meeting. For parcels smaller than 5 acres, a conditional use permit will be required. For parcels larger than 5 acres, the hives will not be able to be located within 200 feet of any structure that is not owned by the property owner. The Planning Commission approved the text amendment on July 21st with a vote of 6-1. I need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 1062.
I'll move. Second.
Any discussion?
Got a question. How does this affect the, we had an issue here a couple years ago, the guy putting the apiary in the floodplain down there behind Tim's neighborhood there in Fawn Valley, and he couldn't put in lavender, he couldn't do other stuff or whatever. How does this affect him, since he does have bees there?
On West Mary.
Right. So that property, I believe, is zoned R2, if my memory serves. I don't think it's zoned as ag. He actually requested for it to be downzoned to ag, and that was denied
Right.
because that would have allowed him to do
The lavender,
lavender
yeah.
and those things. In this case, so an R2 would be a conditional use, same as what we're talking about here for properties less than 5 acres.
Right.
That property was more than 5 acres, so he would have been allowed to put the hives in as long as they were less than 200 feet from any other structure.
Property lines, whatever.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other discussion? No, call the roll.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Technica?
Yes,
Mr. Treadwell?
Is this the time that I can ask a question?
That was just earlier, about 3 times when I asked
You missed
if you had any discussion. But go ahead,
Thank you for
before your vote.
Thank you for the alibi. We were bringing this back because we wanted to look at it the second time. Are we accomplishing what we wanted to look at the second time now?
Yes.
I think it was the distance away from structure.
We could have passed this already. This
Right.
would have went down in the ink already. But we had to bring it back because we wanted to look at something else on it.
This
Right.
had to have buffer, yeah.
I think the recommended buffer when we discussed it last time, Dave, was 50 feet, and they actually extended that to 200 feet.
They also changed, so the recommended buffer initially was 50 feet from the property line. This is now set up that it's 200 feet from any structure not owned by the property, by the applicant, basically.
Well, I was asked that question and I couldn't answer it. I said, I guess if there was probably a comma out of place or a period or something, but I'm sure that there was a reason for it was being brought back.
Yeah, it had
Yeah,
to
it
do
was-
with the buffering.
Right, it was the buffers on properties greater than 5 acres.
Okay, just as long as we've accomplished what we set out to do.
And your vote, Dave? Are you voting yes on that?
Is it me to now? Can I vote?
Yes, please.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Okay. Motion passed. Thank you. Ordinance 1066, item number 3, vacation of right-of-way. The city has received a request to vacate the abandoned railroad right-of-way for the property on east side of Lot 2B. The area to be vacated is .77 acres, and if approved, the lot would increase the lot to 1.87 acres and be zoned B3 Regional Business District. I need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance 1066.
this changed the zoning.
So
No.
anytime
If we vacate this and it's added back to the property, would it change the current zoning on that property?
No, anytime you vacate property, it takes on the zoning of whatever it's being returned to. So since the current zoning on that lot 2B is B3, this vacated area would return to that lot and also be zoned as B3.
And isn't this the same parcel of property that the developer, the owner, wanted to change zoning in a couple months ago that we denied?
Yes.
Correct. He requested a rezone from B3 to R3, I believe. Yeah.
Multifamily?
If it gets denied, he can't bring it back, right? Ever?
He could bring it back in the future whenever, I mean, it's a
Okay.
request.
There's certain things if they get denied, they can't bring them back, right? I thought there was
I
something.
I think with rezones, you have to wait a year.
Is that what it is? Okay. I knew there
Yeah,
was
but
something.
I'm not
Right, but
familiar
on a
if there's a
vacation-
rule with vacation of right-of-way.
I don't think there is on the request.
Okay.
To my knowledge, didn't know that question was going to be presented, but to my knowledge, the vacation, you can bring that back whenever, but it's the zoning that you were restricted.
Maybe I'm
a number of
confused
times.
about the zoning, yeah. That's what it was I was thinking about, yeah.
So if we're having discussion before a motion, here's Greg's 2
We're-
cents.
Well, let's have a motion first, I mean, you want to have a motion?
You can discuss before a motion.
Okay,
That's okay.
go ahead.
So here's my feelings on this. We consistently give to these developers, right? And on the one incident where we had a sit-down restaurant that wanted to go in where Harbor Freight is going, the developer, when the sit-down restaurant asked to expand the northern driveway and a dual-use driveway, said owner of that property said no. So they ask us to give. But yet when something comes to benefit the city, they don't think about the city. I got no issues if he wants to buy it and we sell it to him. Do we know what that's appraised for?
We do not have an appraisal on the property.
would it be difficult to get an appraisal on the property?
No.
So I personally feel that we should get the property appraised and go into discussions with him about buying the property. Because we give all the time to these guys. And I think we need to start looking out for the best interests of the city in this one.
Are we going to penalize a business, local business, just because maybe they don't want to connect their driveway to somebody else?
Are we going to penalize? But
just throwing it out there, Greg.
for the same thing, Dave, we've given waive the park fees, waive the street fees, waive these fees, waive these fees. All right. I know that if we give him the land and he wants to get it rezoned to R2, he's going to come back and ask us to waive the park fees and waive the street fees. So why can't we take something that the city owns and offer to sell it to him? If he really wants it this bad, he'll buy it.
Dave, I think what he's talking about is like when they wanted a shared driveway, it was denied. But yet when the bank was put in next to Petro Deli, who's a team player, said, yes, you can come through my driveway, it's fine.
Well, that is a joint driveway, so I mean, they didn't have to ask Petro Deli for that to clarify.
That
But-
was a
I'm
precondition,
saying
pre-existing easement.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
How long has that been a brush pile down there? Do you have any idea? It's been when I went to school. I think it was trees and brush.
I would imagine since the railroad was abandoned, it's probably been in that condition. But I don't know that for a fact.
What have we made on it as a city?
Right now, we don't make anything on it.
They made
There's
nothing on it that way.
There's no property taxes collected. It's city right away. So
Point made.
Well, but if we can sell it, we can make more money, Dave.
Well,
Right? I mean, we're selling all the land over here. Everybody else sells their land.
we're going
People
back-
don't just give land away.
I know we're
So,
going back, but we're going back to the same thing. We're not going to wait until they're out in front of us before you start selling it to them. If we're going to set precedent on it, Greg, then we need to make it, let them people know when they're coming here that we're not going to give it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different than a lot of land that we own, like across the street. A row is a little different than that. We cannot build anything on that. I mean, you can't put anything, like the city's not
And
going
he
to build
can't do
anything there.
with his property unless he has the property that he wants us to give to him. Please
Right.
give to me. Give. That's all we do.
Well,
I think we need to
yeah,
come
but
back
I mean,
and get it appraised.
you got to also look at the other side, which is, do we want that developed? And would this, if we were to give it to him, would he develop it? Because it'd be a larger lot. The council made the decision, we want that to stay B3, right? So, I mean, in order to put some kind of business there, you can't have a big strip of row right in front of the street. So that's why he's looking at it.
I understand that, Mayor.
painting
And
the
I'm
picture.
saying just, why can't we get it appraised and go from there?
We certainly can.
Okay.
I mean, if
But
that's the
One
way.
thing that,
Mr.
I'm
Mayor,
sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'll make a motion that we table this for tonight
Jesus.
and request that an appraisal be made on the value of the property and go from there.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
If I'm not for that, that's no, correct? If I'm not for, no,
You're not for the tabling or the request of an appraisal, you're both be no.
correct,
So you are no?
yes.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Dednica?
Yes.
Mr. Trickle?
Jesus. I can't believe this. All the sticks. The way this come down, I'm saying no.
All right, I believe the motion passed. What was-
I know it's already passed, but let me ask a question before we move on. Have we ever vacated a right-of-way without a plan going to the planning commission for what's going to happen to the property? We have never done that.
I couldn't tell you yes or no to that
No,
question.
we have never done that. But yet this is put before us without a plan.
I will say I have seen it done in other cities,
Okay,
but I can't tell you for sure whether or not Lansing has ever done that.
perfect.
Yeah, okay. We move on. Item number 4 is ordinance number 1067, UDO text amendment, peripheral street fees. At the May 27th work session, staff and council discussed peripheral street improvements and the fees outlined in the UDO. Based on the feedback from that discussion, this ordinance removes those fees from the UDO, which reduces the cost for developers who may be interested in developing properties in the city. The proposed change would bring the city into alignment with other communities. I need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 1067.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Brungart?
Yes.
Mr. Stemnica?
Yes.
Mr. Trickle?
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 5 is the final plat, Richardson replat. Approval for the final plat for the Richardson replat has been applied for. If approved, this would allow the potential construction of 4 residential homes. The Planning Commission met on July 21st and recommended approval by a vote of 7-0. I need a motion to approve the final plat for Richardson replat.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? This one. No? Call the roll.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Brungart?
Yes.
Mr. Stemnica?
Yes.
Mr. Trickle?
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 6 is Family Eye Care Site Plan. This is informational. This informational item is the concept and site plan for the Family Eye Care building for 301 Center Drive. And Matt will be presenting this, and if there are any questions about it.
I didn't know I was going to do a presentation, but yeah,
Well-
I mean, if there's any questions about what the site plan encompasses or the
We
development
saw
of that lot.
the access to those 2 properties.
So the plan
We
is for
talked
the,
about a road, we talked about moving their entrance, et cetera, et cetera. What does it come down to?
so the site plan that was approved by the planning commission shows that road being moved to the north so that it's roughly 5 feet off the property line. It would be entirely on FEC's property, and it would not be a shared driveway between the 2 properties. At some point in the future, whoever builds on that lot to the south, they'll have to figure out access for their property when that time comes.
All right, great.
But this-
Thank you.
This is what we asked for.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We had that big discussion about it a couple months.
Okay, any other discussion on that one? No?
Good.
City Attorney,
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Dude, we didn't vote.
City Administrator.
We don't have to do this.
If you guys had noticed, when you drive down that K7 Eisenhower intersection, Evergy got done with some of their utility relocation, and they did a really solid job. It's a lot less cluttered now than it was before. So if you haven't noticed, drive through that intersection, take a look. It just looks a lot nicer now that their lines are underground. I want to give a big shout out to Terry. She got a grant for the library for, I believe, $8,000. That was some of that American Rescue Plan funds. That's separate from the city's funds. I believe that's going to be used to upgrade the internet service for the library, and I think for some benches out front so
Right.
people can use the Wi-Fi out there. So great job to Terry on that. I'd put in my report a little paragraph about Sunday morning alcohol sales. Kind of half joking, half seriously, I had heard this bill was a result of the Kansas City Chiefs because I think every time people would go tailgating or want to drink a beer at home when they watch football, they would have to get beer in Missouri. So the Kansas State Legislature updated that so we can make it so people can purchase alcohol before noon on Sundays if we want. If you guys are open to that, we can have an ordinance for the next council meeting for you guys to vote on, so it could, someone could sell alcohol at 9 a.m. if they wanted to. We've spoken to 2 of the 3 liquor stores in town. We had positive feedback about that. Baser has already done it. I believe Leavenworth has done it as well. So I mean, it's one of those things too, where if we didn't do it, they might utilize stores in other communities. So
We're gonna go to Leavenworth if we don't do it together.
yeah, so I mean, we have a template of that ordinance, and we can bring that forward at the next meeting if you guys are open to that.
Everybody good?
So is that
Yep.
okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Good deal. And then the final thing, we talked a little bit about this a couple months ago, and I'd spoken with Jason and Mayor McNeil about it as well. We've spoken to an aquatics consultant about just doing a very basic feasibility study for a pool, kind of figuring out what type of features we would like, how big it would be, and then once you kind of know how big it would be, you can kind of figure out what parcel of land you'd want to put it on. If we want a pool this big, would it fit over there? Would it fit on Mary Street? Would it fit on XYZ lot? So that's one of the things we're looking at doing. The feasibility study would be under $15,000. Just want to make sure you guys are okay with that. Again, this isn't engineering or designing or anything like that. This is a very basic feasibility study to talk about features of an aquatic center, where it might go, and if it would fit on that parcel. So,
Is there design involved in it at all?
very basic. So like what he had said was like, because his company, like all they do is pools. And so if they did a pool in Sabetha, Kansas, he could show that to you guys or residents and say, what do you guys think of this? Would you want something comparable to this? So, I mean, it wouldn't be designed, like it wouldn't be something someone could construct. It's kind of just figuring out what all we would want and where it would fit. So.
It's not like the engineering design to actually build the pool. It's
Yeah, I mean,
giving us some options of the size of the pool and, you know, what we think we want in it.
so if you guys are okay with that,
But he's also going to give us a price guesstimate too.
a
right?
rough
I mean,
price. And
yeah.
during that master plan that we did a couple years ago, I think the number that guy shot us, I think that was almost more based off of like a regional draw type of pool, whereas our preliminary discussions with this gentleman is more of a basic model. But again, he can kind of show us a basic model, show us a model with a couple of slides, show us a model with 2 slides, 2 diving boards, lazy river. You know, I think that's kind of his goal, is saying this is what you could spend if you got all of these features. So.
Sound good? Everybody good with that?
I'm good with that.
Yep,
Okay.
definitely.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, we'll go around the horn. Gene,
I don't have anything tonight. Thank you.
Jesse.
Well, I guess welcome Family Eye Care to Lansing. That's awesome. These glasses and the 3 more pair I have at home are all from Family Eye Care, so it'll be convenient for me to just spend my money in Lansing instead of going to Leavenworth. So, that's all I got.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Greg.
I get excited.
Yeah, I know.
Congratulations, Terry. Great job for getting that grant for the library. And on this day, in 1957, American Bandstand, Mike probably remembers this, debuted on ABC. That's all I have there.
All right, thank you. Ron.
Nothing for me.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Gary?
Please get vaccinated.
Okay. Don?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Dave?
I don't have anything there.
Nothing. Nothing that you can
Yeah,
think
other
of.
than they're gonna want me to say, hey, let's go home. So let's go home.
Is that a motion?
Make a motion to go home.
I have a motion to adjourn
Second.
and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Mr. Brummer?
Yes.
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Yes.
You're tough on me tonight.